Welcome, everyone. I promise you, regardless of where you are in this journey, this video is going to help you today. I actually tried to film this video. I filmed it 2 days ago while I was in Calabasas for the day working. I'll play the video in the background just to prove to you that I actually did it. And while I was filming this video in my mind, I was telling myself, this is a really good video. This is really going to help people. I'm really pumped up and excited to share it with all of our subscribers and those of you who are new to the channel. And of course, I went to listen to the video when it was done. It didn't play, so here I am 2 days later filming it again. Quick story before I get into this story of ex-wife gets ex-husband indicted. Has to do with reading your own book. Okay, so 11 or 12 years ago when I got out of prison, I went on a date with a very nice woman at a Pico One, a very expensive restaurant in Santa Monica. Very nice and expensive to the point of like $18 for a glass of wine, which was a mistake for a guy broke about 9 days out of jail, then wondering what his probation officer would say to the $18 glass of wine. Beyond that mistake, during the conversation with this nice woman over this glass of wine, she asked about my book and writing a book. And I loved having the conversation. And as we began to discuss it, she said, "You would never read from your own book, would you?" And I said, "Well, what makes you ask that?" She said, "Well, I knew this guy one time who was an author and he was so pretentious and arrogant and he just loved to read from his own book and hear his own words." And part of me thought it'd be pretty cool to actually have people want to hear you read your own book. But in the moment I said, I would never read my own book. Who would do such a thing? I'm about to do it right now because it really helps set the tone for this video. Give me 4 lines. Let me read 4 lines from Lessons from Prison to help set the stage for this video. Ex-wife gets ex-husband indicted. I'm going to read the first 4 lines of chapter 20, Perspectives. Here we go. Bear with me. Perspectives. Another Greek myth tells the story of Sisyphus, a man condemned to Hades as a consequence of his misdeeds. For eternity, Sisyphus was required to roll a boulder up a hill. Each time he reached the top, the boulder rolled down again, requiring Sisyphus to start from the beginning. Okay. Well, for many of you, that's what this experience of the criminal justice system is like. We get to the top, we come down. We get to the top, we come down. We're just starting over. The goal is you get to the top and you keep going. Unfortunately, for some people, they continue to make some bad decisions that exacerbate their problems. And that's how I'll transition into this video. Ex-wife gets ex-husband indicted. For clarity, anytime I mention a client in a video, it's because I have permission. In this sense, this new client is insisting I share this message to help all of you because he doesn't want anyone else to go through this horrific and tragic experience of the criminal justice system. So here we go. This new client was a physician who served just under 2 years for a tax charge. And upon his release, he was reconnected with his wife and his children, who went out of their way to visit him in prison, to send him money, to really bend over backwards to ensure that his stay was successful and productive. And while there, he lost like 83 pounds, he told me. He worked on a manuscript, a new business. He was really working to overcome the consequences of his own bad behavior. So upon his release, he's living with his family, a son in college, a daughter who's about to graduate high school. And with this new lease on life, he begins to make some bad decisions. And the primary bad decision, forgive me, the phone's blowing up here, the primary terrible decision was getting a new girlfriend, getting a mistress while he's married. And in time, his wife found out. How she found out, I guess some people that cheat, I've never cheated, though I have a lot of problems. Infidelity is not one of them. Apparently, some people cheat by changing the name on the iPhone. Jane, it's John, Judy, it's whatever. But they change the names. When the text comes in, nobody knows. In time, because apparently this person has every Apple product imaginable, so when the texts come in, anyone can see it. The wife got suspicious. She inquired. She asked. He acknowledged, "Yes, I've been cheating on you. I'm sorry. It will stop." She believed him. Think of everything this woman, this wife has been through. She endured a federal prison term supporting him. Now he comes home not appearing gracious or grateful for the support, but rather continuing to take advantage of it. And even then, after caught, she said, "I'll give you one last chance." Unfortunately, a few months later, in and around August, she found out the relationship was continuing, and she started proceedings to divorce him. She said, "That's enough. You've put our family and me through enough." Well, they were still living together. And one day, the probation officer showed up at their home. As many of you on federal probation know, or you should know, probation pops by the house. They want to make sure that you're compliant, that everything is normal. So this probation officer pops into the home and says, "Well, where's so-and-so?" And she's like, I don't know. He's probably out with his mistress firing guns," without thinking it through, without understanding what she was saying. She was angry and mad, devastated. And the probation officer said, "Well, what do you mean, guns? I don't understand what you mean." She couldn't take it back. She tried, well, I don't know. He's just out. He'll be back. Well, what do you mean about guns? Are there guns here? Is there something I need to know? So through that, of course, it led to a search and an inquiry and the disclosure from my new client that, yes, he had guns. Let me be very clear. I was fortunate as a convicted felon to not care about guns because I've never been into guns. I've never cared about bearing arms or having ammunition. I just don't like guns. I went to a gun range one time with my buddy. I'm like, dude, I don't want to be here. I'm going to sit in the car. Of all the collateral consequences of a felony conviction, that meant nothing to me, but I know it may be a big deal for you, and I'm sorry. But if you've been to prison, and if you don't want to be like Sisyphus, up and down for the rest of your life, you're going to have to find new values, resist temptation, and get some new goals, get some new hobbies. Because in this case, it is not a probation violation. No. Is a felon in possession of a firearm. And this physician who lost 83 pounds in prison, he's likable, he's a sales guy, called and said, my ex-wife is sending me to prison. My ex-wife, snitched on me to the probation officer. So our first step is acknowledging it wasn't your ex-wife. That's why I write, or did she? It wasn't his ex-wife. It was imbalances in his personal life of not appearing gracious and grateful for the love and support of his family and coming home and continuing to make bad decisions. And for some reason, an inability to get rid of one handgun that he just had to hold on to, one handgun that the ex-wife knew about, where because she felt angry and sickened that he would cheat on her through all of that, she blurted it out to a probation officer, and here she is, or here he is again, wrapped up in the criminal justice system with a new charge. The difference is he's not going to have the love and support of the ex-wife this time, and the girlfriend has gone bye-bye. Tends to happen with a new indictment, and here he is, like Sisyphus, at the top, starting all over again. That's how I'm going to wrap up this video. I know it's very difficult to go through the system. I know all of you want the shortest sentence in the most favorable prison, of course, but after you get that, what next? What is life like on the other side? Are you proving worthy of the love and support of your family? Because I assure you this experience is harder on them. I can assure you this ex-wife is not responsible for sending her now ex-husband to federal prison. It's his own bad decisions. And who do we feel the most for? Their children. You would do everything differently if you could. Would pay any amount of money for a do-over, he told me. But do-overs do not exist in life. So to close, one, don't cheat on your wife. Whether you're going to prison or not, don't cheat on your wife. And two, understand that leaving prison does not mean the journey is over. Completing probation does not mean that the journey is over. There are lifelong consequences to this felony conviction. You've got to embrace and endure them. And I'm sorry if for some of you, forfeiting the right to bear arms is a big deal. I get it. I understand it. We all forfeit and lose things as a result of this experience. Find new values, find new hobbies, put your family first. And if you can do that, you will not become ensnared again in this wretched, sickening system. If you'd like to learn more, of course, go to White Collar Advice. You can still get a copy of Lessons from Prison for free. Thank you for letting me break my own rule of reading from my own book, something I promised I would never do. And thank you for allowing our team to educate you on this system as you're going through it. I hope you really feel as if you found a home at White Collar Advice. We're proud of the content that we produce. We think it's realistic, educational, and rooted in reality. This is hard. Some get through it. So will you, with a plan, purpose, and hard work. Work. Thank you. Subscribe if you find value. If not, that's okay too. I'll be back soon with more valuable content. Bye-bye.